What is up, guys? Today we're back in the shop. I don't have a whole lot of time today, so we're just gonna sort of try to get as much stuff done as possible. So it's been a couple episodes since we looked at the list, and I can cut a couple of things off of there. I don't know. Oh wait, I might have a marker on me. I do. Let's see. Wideband O2 sensor is done. Oh, that's it. So. Basically, I ended up just doing a bunch of stuff that wasn't on the list because I didn't know there were problems before, like the exhaust and fixing the fuel issue and all that stuff. But today, I'm going to start by working on the cooling fans. I got a couple of plugs from both of the fans. These are like the factory plugs from, it's a radiator and fans from a Legacy, so these are the factory plugs off there. I'm going to figure out what the wiring is on them, but first I'm going to solder some length onto them. So I can actually wire them, and then get those working. I'm going to put them just on a switch, and I've got a couple of switches for a couple other circuits for the wideband circuit and actually the main ECU circuit. That is mainly just for security reasons, so I can shut off the ECU and there's no chances of it starting without someone knowing, but now everyone knows because I said it on this video, so please don't steal my car. So I'll have to make a little switch panel for those, and then I actually learned that I can raise the front of this car without having to buy any new anything. I can just re-index the springs, or there's actually an adjustment screw to move it a little bit. So I'm going to try to raise it to where I can steer the car. I don't want to make it really high, and I will also adjust the camber all the way in to try to, you know, keep it as low as possible, but still be able to steer. But as it sits right now, it rubs like horrible. I'm looking at it right now, that's what I'm looking over here. It basically has like a degree of steering angle, so definitely need to figure that out one way or another. I can shave down the inner fender a little bit, but I want to basically get it to where it'll steer without messing with the fender at all first, and then I can cut it down and dial it all in. So yeah, let's get started on wiring these guys. Also, if you guys don't know, these are like automatic wire strippers. These are like one of the greatest tools of all time if you're doing a bunch of wiring. I used to see them on Mighty Car Mods for like years, and I didn't know what the hell they were, and then I found them at the store. Somehow I'd been to parts stores and tool stores a bunch of times and never noticed them, but I found them at the store, and these are like the greatest thing ever. Basically, instead of having to strip them, you know, oh, I am out of frame, there we go. Instead of having to strip them, you know, like twisting them and stuff, all you do is just stick the wire in there and click, and it pulls it off, so it makes things much easier. Let's go. My guess, there's 3 wires on here. My guess that this one, if I wire this to ground and this one to hot, just on a switch, like a switch system, then it will power the fan. So fingers crossed that I'm not wasting my time on this, because I'm just going to wire it straight to hot, but on a manual switch. And people, when you're doing wiring that is permanent, please just do me a favor and just go out, buy some heat shrink tubing. Costs like nothing. Just use that. It is so much nicer than freaking electrical tape, and it is not even expensive, so what's wrong with you people? Yeah, that is so much better looking than a freaking tape connection. Alright, well, now I think I'm going to use my power probe to see if this will turn on the fans. So I gotta strip these ends. I guess I'm just gonna hook this up to ground wherever. I'm probably just gonna ground it the same place the fuel pump is grounded, since they're right next to each other. And then I'm just gonna hook up the power probe to this and make it simple. So let's go check it out. I'm just gonna crimp a little I terminal on there because that's how the fuel pump is grounded. I cut off way too much, so I'm not putting any heat shrink tubing on it now because it has to be cut down anyways, but I'm just trying to figure out how these things are wired. I guess I could look it up, or there's a couple ways I could figure it out, but this is easy and fast and free. So, alright, she's grounded, and I actually might have made the hot wire long enough to reach the battery, so let me see. Nope. Power probe it is. Actually. It works! It's hitting something though. Sounds horrible. I don't know if you guys just heard that, but an animal just ran across the roof. Okay. I think it was a cat. That was so weird. Oh, no, what is this? What the hell? That was sitting in the radiator, in between the radiator and the fan. This is a bracket for a turbo Subaru, I think, maybe? Alright, this place is haunted. I don't know what the hell is happening. There's so many noises happening. Let me check it again. Beautiful. So I got both of the fan plugs wired in, just in parallel, like I said. Now I've just got this little sheet of aluminum, and this is going to be the switch panel. It's just going to be sitting up under the dash. You won't really be able to see it. That's why it doesn't really matter how it looks, but it's still going to look okay. So, just going to drill it out. I've got 5 holes. I only got 3 switches, but I'm going to drill 2 extra holes, because I have a feeling I'm going to want a couple more for something in the future. So, for now, I'm just going to be using 3. Here's the finished switch panel. These are the 2 that are unused for now. I just put a little body dart in them to complete the look. Now I'm going to go find a place to mount it in the car and mount it and start wiring everything in. So I got this switch panel all wired in and mounted up, sort of mounted up, sort of mocked up, but it'll work until I get some more stuff made. But here it is. So you can see it's a little lopsided. That's just because I have it mounted basically with sticky tape. This is actually a factory piece. The 2 liters had these center consoles and they extended all the way down here. What I'm going to do though is cover the floor in carpet because I don't like the center console right here. And nothing works with my shifter anymore. But instead of the side pieces normally come all the way up to like here. So I'm going to make my own side pieces out of aluminum sheets that go down this side to cover up all the wiring and stuff down there, and then just carpet on the floor. So this is a temporary setup, but it is the factory gauge cluster pack, I don't know, but the air-fuel ratio gauge fits right in there, and then I want to use this gauge as well. This is the factory coolant temp gauge, and then I have a volt gauge as well that I would like to mount in there, but those still need wired up and everything. But I thought I'd show you guys the switches. That one controls the ECU. See, it's turning on there. This one, ignition has to be on for this one to pop on, but that will turn on the air-fuel ratio gauge and sensor. And then fans. So, works great. That's what I wanted. Basically, I was just hooking them up manually, so like the ECU, because I don't want the ECU to be on accessory, because then if someone breaks my ignition, which isn't that crazy, they can just steal the car. But with this way, they have to know. Again, please don't steal my car, guys. I can mark another thing off the list because now the fans are wired in, finally, and this is just nice for everything, because before, when I was trying to start the car and mess with it and stuff, I'd be unplugging and plugging it back in, making it a huge pain in the butt. List is on the ground. Let's see what else we got. Okay. Cooling fans, gone. Let's work on the fender flare fitment. Let's see if we can raise this thing and give it some steering. Something that I sort of love about old German cars is they provide adjustment where you won't see in a lot of other cars. So these are actually factory adjustable ride height by quite a bit. So let me bring you guys under and show you what I'm talking about. So here we go. This is the control arm with the strut up here. The control arm goes right here, and this bolt right here, if you turn it clockwise, it raises the car, and counterclockwise will lower the car. As you can see, it is almost maxed out lowered, so I'm just gonna spin that thing up and see how much ride height it'll give me and see if it'll stop me from rubbing. Let me show you what they look like maxed out. So, as you can see, it brought that arm down. Looks like that on both sides. Whew, that's a good workout. I'm gonna drop the car down and see what it looks like. Well, she definitely has plenty of clearance now, holy crap. Yeah, she's a monster truck now. So, at least I know that I have room. I'm gonna mess with the camber now, put in max camber, and then I'm gonna slowly lower it until it's somewhere that I'm happy with. After a little bit of fiddling with it, I decided on this ride height, which actually doesn't look half bad. It's obviously higher than it was before, but there's actually a ladybug on the mic. I wonder if you guys can hear that. Not anymore. In there. Alright, so this is what I decided on. It looks okay, and I imagine it's going to settle a little bit once I drive it, but it's a lot higher than it was before. No rubs lock to lock, and that's with the camber. So basically, I just gained a bunch of space in here. So I imagine if I shave this down, I can get even lower, but I'm going to leave it like this for now because I just want to be able to drive it, and I can really dial it in once it's driving. At this point, I know it's not going to rub. So once it's running, I can start, tweaking it down just a little bit every time I go out until it's basically to its lowest point. But I was cleaning out the interior actually because it's just been a mess of crap. There's the passenger seat. There was just a million things in there. For some reason, no one ever said anything about it, surprisingly. But it bothered me all the time. Basically had all that crap in it. But when I was messing with it, I realized the ECU was just like floating around and I didn't have the case on it. So I dug around, found all the case components, but I realized I'm missing the hardware for it. So I'm gonna go run to the hardware store. I don't have any hardware that works in here, it's too small. Run to the hardware store because I want to get this in this case so I don't end up breaking the ECU driving around or anything. I got the hardware for the ECU. Is a whopping $1.02. Got the computer hooked up. This is just a cheap computer that I bought from the surplus of the local university. Dirt cheap, and it's running Linux. The only reason I did this is because my Mac that I was using before did not want to run it well, and I didn't want to have to dual boot that computer. Basically, it would crash like every 5 minutes, like crash the entire operating system. So it was a problem. This one's one of these convertible laptops too, so I can use it as gauges pretty easily for while I'm tuning. That works out well. But I figured I'd start this thing up and run it for a bit, see if I can play with the tune at all while I've got the time. So let's see if she starts and doesn't make a ton of noise from the alternator belt. Oh, looking good. If she stays running. So if I go to this tab over here, let's see if I can possibly zoom in. So you got a bunch of tabs here. I'm on Gauge Cluster right now. If you go to Tune Analyze Live, if you pay for this program, it will let you do an auto tune, like T-Pain. Right now it says it's calibrating the O2 sensor. I don't really know what this all means. I haven't really played with it a bunch. I'm total amateur with this, so bear with me. Oh, it just died. Oh, there's a backfire. definitely running like. So wherever this point is, you can see it moving around. You got RPM and load, it looks like, on this side. So you can see it floating around when I rev it. Seems to be helping. It's not running quite as stupid rich on when I rev it up. Alright, I also put the alternator belt on. I don't think I ever mentioned that, but the alternator belt is on. I'm gonna say screw it, I'm gonna drive it down my alleyway. My shop is in an alley, so no worries about getting pulled over or anything. Yeah, let's do it. Hell yeah. I can't believe I'm driving this thing right now. This is so weird. Let's give it some. Wow, it's totally gutless right now without a tune on it. That's all I'm gonna do. But she drives actually up and down the road. She makes some funny noises. There's a bunch of stuff not bolted down, that just disconnected. But I just drove my car. So, yeah, I guess it barely got into the revs. It didn't want to rev. My ignition table must be way off because it didn't want to rev when it was under a load. And that's why it felt so slow, because obviously it didn't sound like that. Yeah, this car drives. I'm so happy. That's so weird. It doesn't feel real, actually. And I'm actually sort of surprised how okay it feels. I mean, I have like a bunch of stuff that isn't even tightened down. Like the CV axles don't even have the cotter pin. No, not cotter pins. What are they called? The pins that you have to hammer in. Whatever those things are called. Can't think of it. But like those aren't even in there. The cables are all dragging on the ground and shit. But wow, I can't believe that thing runs. Oh, you know what? I should have taken it outside to take pictures of it. I'm gonna do that as soon as I end this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This actually, yeah, I can go lower. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you are as excited as I am to have this car running, because I am so close to driving it. I mean, I did just drive it. I'm not close to driving it. This thing drives. Finally. It doesn't even, it's so weird. Honestly, so weird. Subscribe if you want to see this thing drive more. If you want to see me tuning this thing. If you want to see me driving it on the track. That is coming soon. Leave a comment if I said screw you to all you guys and actually drove this thing before you guys thought, because a bunch of you guys were guessing like a month or two. What the hell, man? No faith in me. That's gonna be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good one. Peace.